May is mock scrape month. We've been talking about it. I just put a mouthful of sunflower seeds in, and then I start recording and get rid of that one. Anyhow, May is mock scrape month. We've discussed it, and I'll tell you, me and Doc, we had us a good time today. My son gave me these sunglasses for wearing while I'm making my videos, because he knows I have to have sunglasses on to build my confidence. But yeah, we started our day this morning. Doc and I went up to Hearst and seen our buddy Lane up there and picked up 100 pounds of orange forage sorghum seed. This stuff will grow. It makes really good screening because it grows between 8 and 12 foot tall, with proper in a perfect situation. And anyhow, we got it out, put out 50 pounds of it today with about 50 pounds of fertilizer as well. We probably should have bumped that up to about 100 to 250 pounds. That stuff, it loves the nitrogen. But anyhow, we got that out, and what we're doing is we're trying to create some screening on these travel corridors. As a person moving on foot, or on a whatever it is that they're using to get from place to place out in the hunting woods, the way his fields are all set up, the travel corridors run right through the middle or right along the side of the feed plots, and we're building some screening in between the travel corridor and the feed plots. That way, if there's deer out there or somebody's going to be hunting that particular feed plot and you need to get to one on the other side of it, you've got some screening to maneuver behind and not blow that whole field. The other thing that we did while we were out there today is we put up a couple mock scrapes. And let's discuss that for just a second. There's so many advantages to a mock scrape versus just letting them put out their own natural scrapes wherever they want. But the thing to keep in mind here, depending on the size of your property, you don't want to overload it with scrapes or mock scrapes, because each additional scrape diminishes the value of the previous scrapes. And let me try to put that in perspective for you. Say you've got a buck that's got 5 scrapes between his bedding area and the feed plot that you're going to be hunting adjacent to. Okay, your tree stand is in his path between his bedding area and his grazing area, his browsing area. Okay, let's say he's got 5 scrapes between point A and point B. Well, if he stops at all 5 of those scrapes, he's spending 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that, maybe longer, at each scrape. That slows his progression to your shooting area. Okay, now let's say you're 15, 20 yards inside the woods away from a feed plot where say you got 15, 20 does that get out there, and that third feeding just right before sunset, and your buck is hanging out over there in the woods. You can't necessarily wait for that big wise buck to get out in the field, because he's not going to go out there unless he's enticed. He's not going to go out there during daylight hours, but he might be hanging out right there on the edges of the wood line, doing a little bit of browsing, hitting those scrapes or your mock scrape, waiting for that right doe. Okay, now going back to those mock scrapes, if he's got 5 to hit between bedding A and feeding B, that slows his progression down. Now let's say you've got 15, 20, 30 yards, whatever your comfortable bow shooting distance, out in front of your stand, right on the trail. You've got that mock scrape there, and you go through his entire path and you remove every single one of the scrapes between A and B except for yours. He's got nothing to slow his progression. Now once he does get there, this is the nice thing, he's going to stop and he's going to lick on that licking stick or rub his preorbital gland or whatever. If it's during rut, he might pee, he might paw the ground. You've seen what they do. And that's going to give you that opportunity to set up your shot. Okay, if you're a bow hunter, you know you got a cruising buck moving along, you've got to stop him. Most of us will bleat or, do something to whistle to stop their progression, and then you get that shot off. Well, even if you bleat and he stops and he looks at you, you've got a split second. But if he stops naturally, and he's been doing it naturally for the entire summer and fall leading into the archery season or firearm season at your mock scrape, now he's comfortable and he's just going to do what he feels natural. And the longer we can keep him there, the better the opportunity you have to get your shot off. So we went out and we built some mock scrapes today. And the funny thing is, we get the first one built, and Doc says, well, it's too bad I don't have to pee. He said I'd pee in that. And I was like, Doc, you pee in scrapes? And he says, well, it's the first time I've ever built a mock scrape, but I have peed in scrapes before. And I thought, he's probably the only person I've ever talked to my entire life that says it's okay to pee in a scrape. Now, I don't just go around hitting other scrapes and pee in them, but whenever I build a mock scrape, as soon as I get done, that's the last thing I'm going to do before I walk off, is I'm going to urinate in that scrape to get it started. Trail cams are going to show us at the end of this challenge in 30 days. Remember, we talked about it the other day. On the 5th, I think it was, of June, we plan on putting together all the different footages of the mock scrapes and show the percentage of deer that come in and hit the licking stick versus the deer that actually come in and paw the ground or urinate on the ground. This time of the year, we're way out of rut. So the chances of seeing a buck, or even a doe for that matter, urinating in a scrape is pretty slim. But even still yet, once we do move into rut, as things cool up in October or early November, we're still going to see probably 75% of the activity on these mock scrapes is going to be licking stick versus 25% of working the soil. That in itself, transferring that scent every time that they hit that stick, creates more scent for the next deer to smell. They're going to be able to identify. That's the weird thing about the way animals smell things. Myself, my wife, let's say she's cooking pancakes on Saturday morning, and I've been outside, I come walking in and I smell pancakes. Okay, that's the way humans' sensories are. A deer walks in and smells the flour and the paprika or whatever it is that she puts, cinnamon. It's going to smell each individual ingredient. So this is the reason why when it comes to a mock scrape, other than putting a little bit of your own urine in the soil, you don't want to put anything on the stick, because anything that you do is just going to cover up natural scents that nature has put on it, or the deer will put on it later. So that's our mock scrape challenge for May. I challenge you, get out there and build you one or two, put you a camera up on it about 6 feet up in the air, facing back down at that mock scrape, and let's see what kind of pictures or videos you guys get. Thanks for tuning in. You guys have a great day. And it is May, mock scrape month, and I've issued the mock scrape challenge. On the 1,000-acre property out in Rover, we're going to be putting in 7 brand new mock scrapes. We've already got 3 of them out there right now, so we got 4 more that we need to put in, with a camera on each one of them. And we're going to collect up as much video footage of the passers-by and see what kind of deer we've got out there in the woods. We invite you to do the same thing on your hunting property. If you're unsure of how to build a mock scrape, check out the mock scrape playlist and we'll show you some videos on how-tos.